Hi guys, good afternoon. This is week 4 of Spacelift, and this week we are talking all about the dining room. So as you are joining us this week, we just hope you can focus on the dining room as we're all getting ready for the holidays, starting to think about Thanksgiving and Christmas and what is coming up and all the different entertaining opportunities that we have. We just want to take a week and just focus on the dining room. So I know dining rooms look different for everyone and in every house, but we'll try and touch base on all the different ways that we can use our dining room and make it the most functional space possible. So as we have started off every week, we're going to ask ourselves the 4 questions. And remember, these 4 questions can be different for each room of the house, and hopefully they will just help us focus on what we need our room to feel like. So the first question is, what do you want the room to feel like? I know for me, in my dining room, which is where I'm at right now, I want it to feel clean and inviting. I want people to feel welcome. Well, wait, I just went on to the second question. Did you hear that? So the second question is, how do you want people to feel in your room, in your space? So I want people to feel welcome here in the dining room. If you're having a meal, you don't want people to feel like they're in a hurry, they're uncomfortable. You want people to be comfortable and able to sit and enjoy the meal. So that's part of what the dining room is all about, right? The third question is, what is the mood of this space? I think dining rooms you can really do a lot with. You can make them a little funky or fun. You can make them more dark and have some candles and more romantic, or you can keep them clean and bright and airy. So that's up to you and how you use your space and how it functions. If you're having a lot of dinner parties late at night and you want the dramatic room, I think a dining room is a great place just to add a lot of drama. So keep that in mind as you're thinking about your room and your space. And then the last question, and I think this is my favorite question that we've asked all 4 weeks. How does it need to function, and how do I need to move in the space? I think this is just so important to ask ourselves this question, and it can really be a really revealing question. So, does your dining room double as your office? Do you use it as a craft room? Do you do your homework? Your kids do the homework all around the dining table? Or is it a more formal space? Do you always have it set for parties? Does it look like a magazine or not? Most people will probably say not. But just think about that. And I know for our dining room, it's a pass-through kind of from the front entryway into the back of the house. So, people are often walking through the dining room even if they're not sitting down in it. So you just have to think about the movement of your space and how to organize your pieces so it makes the most sense for you and your house and your family. So what you really need in a dining room, and this was a little bit surprising as I was getting ready for this week, I did a little bit of research with some designers, and what they say you really need in a dining room is only 2 things. Ready? You need a dining table, obviously, with the chairs included in the table. And the second thing is a chandelier. And that's it. And if you think about it, I've seen magazines and ads that show just all it is a table and a light. And that's it. There's no buffet or hutch or anything else. And some dining rooms are small enough where that's all that will fit, and that's okay. So if you have a small room and all that will fit is a table, it's okay. That's awesome. Use it. Work it. So speaking of tables, for a dining room table, I made my table as big as possible for my space, but still where people can move around it comfortably. I wanted to be able to fit as many people at my table as I could, just because it's for extra entertaining. And then, but still, like I say, be able to move. And it's the same that we talked about with kitchens. If you have a circular table, people are able to move around it easier than maybe a rectangle or a square table. So you just have to adjust it that way. Think about a bench. A bench is a great way on one side of your table. You can get your table closer to a wall if you have a bench, because it can kind of scoot under the table. You can also, you can put more people on a bench. Maybe that could always be the kids spot, so you can fit 3 or 4 kids on a bench rather than just 2 adults with some chairs. So a few things to think about as you're thinking about your table and your chairs. Something else I would say with chairs, just make sure they're comfortable. You don't want to be having people over for dinner and have them uncomfortable in their chairs. So whatever kind of chair you want in your space, just make sure it's comfortable. You'll notice I have wood chairs here, and they need painting, and they haven't been painted yet. These are the most comfortable wooden chairs I've ever sat in. There is not even a cushion on it. They like hug you around your back. I don't even know. These are super comfortable. So that's why I picked them for the dining room. Most people have upholstered chairs or some kind of upholstery. Even just upholstered chairs at the head of the table is also a popular look. So just think about how other people feel in your space. And then if you have other space in your room, then you start to think about a hutch or a buffet. Buffets are so popular, especially in the furniture world. Everyone loves an awesome buffet. And I do too, totally. My dining room isn't big enough for a buffet, so I just had to do a small one. I just opted for a little one. Still gives me a little bit of closed storage space for placemats or extra dishes. And honestly, my kids keep their craft stuff in it, which is great because it's out of the way. And it's still a small buffet, but it gives me a little extra counter space. If we're serving, you can put a dish over there, get it off the table. So just think about how you can incorporate that. Even a really thin, narrow sideboard or console table could also be something that would be super helpful for your space if you need that, but you don't really have the room for it. Some people just don't have the space for a giant hutch, so think about that. The other thing, well, speaking of hutches, I didn't think I had any room for a hutch, and I started thinking, what about a corner hutch? So I found this. This is my corner hutch. It really does not take up that much space on the floor, but it still gives me some storage, and it's pretty. I can style the top however I want. You can still see it, but it's really nice, and the glass just kind of makes it reflect, makes it a little bit more formal in this space. So those are definitely some things that you can consider. And if you want a bar, some people like bars, either a little bar storage, a bar cart, that's what I'm trying to say, a bar cart. And if you don't have room for that, you can also think of one that might hang on the wall. So that's something else that you might have space for in a dining room. So those are the things. But really our table is going to be the focal point of the room. And since it is, I wanted to show you a few options for centerpieces. You see those tables all the time, that they're just like centerpiece all over. And I always wonder, how do you actually eat dinner there? I don't know. Or if you want to use your table for anything else, how do you do that? So I tend to like really simple tablescapes. I like something in the middle of the table, but I like to keep it simple so that you can just take it off real quick and move it if you need to. If you need the whole table space, it can also sit. It's not too tempting for the kids, nothing like crazy that they like to rearrange. So I always go for kind of the low table centerpieces. So I have a few things for you I wanted to show. First thing, this is the newest one. I just got a bread bowl, and these are kind of really popular right now. I found this cool bread bowl, and I just filled it right now with some pine cones and some pumpkins. Oh guys, I totally tried the glitter spray paint on these pumpkins. It worked a lot better than I thought. So just a tip, you can totally glitter some pumpkins with spray paint. It was super easy. Just a word to the wise on glitter. Don't put your face, like I was spray painting in a box, and the glitter just, I got glitter all over my face. So be careful with your glitter. But anyways, and this is great because you can fill any of these kinds of trays up in the summer, maybe with just some candles, some seashells, moss, things like that. You can trade it out for the seasons, but it's still like you have the main base container. Something else that I really like, I've kind of fallen in love with this year. This is an old drawer from a sewing machine cabinet. You can see it's just a shallow drawer. And then I put 3 mason jars, and I like to fill it with flowers. A note on flowers like this. So, you can get flowers, and these are a little shabby. You can get flowers like this, Moms, for like $3.99. And this was one batch, and I just separated it up into 3 different mason jars, and it makes it look like a really full bouquet. And seriously, guys, for like $3 or $4, this will last for a couple weeks, which just makes me so happy because I love fresh flowers. So this is something that would definitely be nice on the table. You know, you can make the flowers as fancy as you want if you're having a formal dinner with some roses and, you know, make it more fancy, or just real casual like this. So that's another great option, just some flowers. And then the other one that I really like, and this is also low. This is an old toolbox. If you kind of like the vintage rusty thing, it's metal. And then I just filled it up with some sequined acorns. So kind of 3 different options for a fall tablescape. They're all low so you can see across them if you leave them at the table. Really easy just to pick up and move if you don't want them. And then super easy to change out for the different holidays. Obviously we're coming up on Christmas. Even just full of some ornaments would be super cute. So think about things like that. You can reuse season after season. It doesn't take up too much storage space. And it's just fun. It's just totally fun. So those are the things I wanted to show you. Stay tuned with us. Tomorrow we're taking on a field trip to Home Goods. Kristin and I will show you our favorite finds at Home Goods. And we'll talk about upholstering dining room chairs this week. I'll show you the video, and I'm hoping to show you some cool fabric that you can use to do that to your space. So make sure you tag us with #Spacelift if you do anything in your dining room this week, or your kitchen, or your entryway, or your master bedroom. I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and stay tuned with us this week as we do it some more. All right, y'all, have a great afternoon, and we'll talk to you later.